cover that I noticed that it's not Adonais. I've been saying Who Mourns for Adonais for 30 plus years now.
Do they not mention the name very much in this show?
Well, Adonis isn't his name. His name is Apollo on the episode.
Oh.
Yep.
This is one of those ones where the episode title has no like
Direct.
explicit connection to the actual.
It's like there's this attempt to be super literary for
Yeah,
Star
of course.
Trek.
I mean, it's like all the
There's a
Shakespearean.
lot of pretentious episodes.
But I'm like, really? Because like everybody else is watching like F Troop and
I'm guessing the episodes of F Troop weren't named Who Mourns for Adonais.
Yeah.
well, golly, I think we should do.
I was playing Trivial Pursuit recently, and one of the answers was Gomer Pyle PFC or whatever that show is called.
Oh yeah.
USMC. Yeah, he's a
It was
Marine.
the question was who
Is this-
was like promoted to general
At the last
after 30 years of being a PFC or something like that.
Hmm.
He got promoted to general?
Yeah,
Like-
well, not on the show. In like the actual Marines conferred upon the character Gomer Pyle
An honorary-
Oh, some kind of honorary.
Yeah, I don't know if
PR
it was
stunt.
general or
I-
colonel or whatever it was, but yeah, that was the truth.
That was the biggest show for a while.
Yeah.
So that was a probably tough to go against.
Didn't Jim Nabors die recently?
Yeah, not that long ago. Didn't somebody try to blackmail him because of his like?
Yeah, he was. It's kind of a sad story, and I might be getting some of the details of this wrong, but I think I'm remembering it right. He was really good friends with Raymond Burr,
Right.
who was also gay,
Right.
and also closeted, and they were not a couple, but they were just like best friends. But just the implication of being seen in public together was like too much of a risk. So they basically kind of had to stop being friends because they just didn't even want to risk being seen together,
Right.
which kind of sucks. You're like,
That totally sucks.
I have to not be friends with one of my best friends because the tabloids are going to say we're banging.
Lovers, yeah.
Right.
Well, it's great that all
And if
that's
they
done
had been
now.
banging, that would have been one thing. But they weren't even. They weren't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
banging.
yeah.
There's fucking have something in common.
Let's not talk about sad things. Let's talk about Star
we
Trek.
both like Tab Hunter an awful lot.
Well, Tab Hunter was fantastic. Come on.
I just watched that. Have you seen that documentary about him that's on Netflix?
I have seen that documentary. About
It's
him.
really good. I thought it was really good.
He had a lot of the same kind of like situation type thing.
Yeah.
You know, like we
All
brought
those closeted guys in the 50s were all having this exact
it
same
would
experience.
if you saw like a couple like or a threesome going out when it was two guys and a girl and it was like the two guys were really good friends and like the girl was always there and having a party. It's like
Yeah, like Natalie Wood was his beard.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
he would go out with Natalie Wood and his boyfriend.
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
three of them would go out on the town.
Right.
And the tabloids, the magazines would cover it as like Tab Hunter and girlfriend Natalie Wood are out with their buddy.
single buddy. Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, no, Natalie knew what was up.
Yeah.
She was in on it.
Yeah.
Debbie Reynolds too. She was in on it.
Yeah, and there was somebody else that was like sort of a name I can't remember.
Famous beards of
Yeah,
Hollywood.
Famous beards. I'd like famous beards for 200, Alex.
Famous Hollywood beard.
She went with Tab Hunter, and
Oh, there's so many. How am I supposed to know which
this
one?
is a tough question. This is for 1,000.
Did any of you guys ever read Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay? Michael Chabon's
I was not
book.
able to get through it, but not because it was of anything qualitative. I just
There's a whole. It's a long book.
yeah,
but
that was basically it. I gave up.
there's a storyline in that book that I think, having seen that movie now, I think it was based on Tab Hunter because there's a character in that book who's a closeted actor who gets busted at a private house party. Somebody with the neighbors called the cops or whatever.
Oh, that's
and
right.
the cops show up and bust all of these guys who aren't doing anything except just
Being all guys.
socializing.
Yeah.
Being gay.
It wasn't an orgy. It was just like a house party, but
But it was like suspiciously high on
right. It was
God,
That's
man.
what sausage
there was a
party.
real sausage fest
Yeah.
down at the pier.
They based looked at how attractive the people were.
Right.
There was no women there. This is
Something's
like-
up, you guys.
Yeah. Because there's no way you guys wouldn't be pulling.
So anyway, that's
Grade A tape.
that happened in real life to Tab Hunter, and they had the studio had to like cover it up, because they didn't want Tab was like their like matinee idol, golden boy kind of movie star,
right, bringing in a lot of the ladies.
The ladies loved Tab.
Yeah.
Tab.
Well, good reason. He was freaking gorgeous.
And
man.
he could
when
sing.
Tab Hunter was young, he was beautiful.
He was doing like top 10 hits on the song.
Yeah, he was a pop star too.
Yeah, people like forget that. But he was damn gorgeous.
And this has been Tab Hunter Talk.
Yeah.
This has been Hollywood homosexual history.
I just think it's a tragedy, man. But I wonder.
It was a real sad story, but it had a happy ending. I mean, he seemed, by the end of that documentary, he seemed like he
just basically like, well, it's good that his career kind of went on the wane, so he could sort of transition into some kind of like not as public figure in a way, and that sort of let him have an out.
Yeah, it seemed like he got happier once he sort of wasn't famous anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
because he didn't have to.
He couldn't really stop chasing like the fame, but like when it sort of just kind of moved away from him, and younger, newer guys were doing the matinee idol thing.
We just saw him in Grease 2 not that long ago, Sean. We watched Grease 2. Remember?
Oh, that he plays the
Tab Hunter's the teacher, the biology teacher,
the substitute.
Yep. He was in a couple of John Waters movies during that same time period.
Yeah, I mean, he still does. I mean, he did stuff for a long time. He did more discerning. I mean, smaller
anyway,
stuff.
it's a good movie. Check out Tab Hunter Confidential on Netflix.
I heartily agree. It was quite
interesting. You guys watch all of these. I don't get to watch any of these.
I only watch documentaries. I can't really do series.
Netflix documentaries all the time.
That's what I watch mostly.
I don't know how you have time to do that.
I don't really have time, but when I do watch, I do enjoy just like the... it's funny because the documentary art form has just gotten so much better, and there's so many good ones. And at least,
I agree with you.
And then I just like, oh man, I really want to know. And like, I don't know, I just find a lot of them very interesting. And like, there's a lot of, these little ones that are like, they might not have made like 10 years ago because it's not like a huge subject, but it's nice and personal.
Well, documentaries are usually pretty cool. I mean, they're usually pretty fascinating, and with the new formats of like Netflix and stuff like that, not only can you get them on the air, but you can get long form documentaries.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them too. You know what I mean? It's just like they're great. So I don't know. I'm super fascinated by like the histories and subcultures and things like that. Like, the cult stuff. Love it.
Cults.
Well, yeah, you guys talk about that wild
gotta love a cult
here all the time.
God, love that one. Love cults.
I was listening to the episode, I think, the other day where we first brought up Wild Wild Country.
That's such a good documentary.
You guys talked
we talked about that in depth.
I know. Anon Sheila's still a hero to me. She's just
she was the breakout star of that.
So what do you guys think about this? Like,
Should
there's
we
this
start this episode.
But this sounds like one we might want to talk about cults a lot more.
I'm bummed Erin isn't here because I wanted to tell her that I listened to My Favorite Murder, the podcast.
Oh, that's one of her favorites.
because she recommended it.
Oh yeah.
So I started listening to it. It's really good, but I can't tell the two of them apart.
Oh,
it's two female hosts who host this podcast, and they sound similar enough to me that I can't tell who's talking.
Oh yeah, this is the one I hate. Oh, wait. I wonder if anybody has the same problem with our podcast.
I think, that was where I was going with this conversation, is because sometimes I listen to this show and I'm like, not Sean, because Sean's voice is really distinctive.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll hear one of you two and think it's me, or vice versa, because
here's an interesting thing. I can't tell
similar enough.
I can tell you and Sean, but I can't tell the difference between myself and
that makes
Jake.
sense, I guess.
But I honestly, because like sometimes our phrasing is very similar, and sometimes Jackson generally. I would say that Jacob's jokes are funnier, but he's got like really good one-liners, and I can usually tell. But every once in a while, it'll be me, and then I'll be like, "Oh, okay." Well, and sometimes we sound very similar, but usually you have a much more deliberate rhythm, and I'm more of just scattered. But every once in a while,
lately I can tell it's you because you're nowhere near a microphone when you're talking, and I can hear, and it's just I can just hear you. So basically, what it is this. Hey, here's something funny I just
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, and I was bringing this criticism up. I think
About the
how we're getting
tighten
loose,
it up,
tighten
We
it
gotta
up.
tighten-
show.
I'm
We
really
have to tighten this ship up.
We gotta tighten
It's
this up.
really you. Dude.
It's really me, but I wanted to like sort of like have
So,
the
Drag the rest
Give
of
it
us
a
into
note
it.
to the whole group so he can acknowledge he should
That's how
give
it
himself
always
a note.
is. You always call out in other people the things you don't like about yourself.
That's right. So let's tighten it up. Let's keep it funny.
Keep it tight.
All right, let's get this going then.
Keep it tight. Keep it fit.
Keep it fit. Let's get those 9-pack abs. I'm
All right.
adding 3
All right.
more abs to this
Go ahead,
discussion.
John.